Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for Yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
We start today with Lamar Jackson. All right, gentlemen, grant me this moment of reflection and transparency. Years and years ago, I was controlled by fear. I feared my dad the most.
Still scared, huh?
He was and remains my idol, even in death. In the 7th grade, I fell in love with a girl, Janice Toth. I never pulled the trigger because it would have pissed my dad all the way off. I'm not going to give you the full explanation, but you can figure it out.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Why do I bring this up today? Because last week, I let fear convince me to swear off betting against Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the New England Patriots. Fear does not control me. I ain't afraid of no ghost, the boogeyman defense, or my bookie. This can't be the most fearless show in sports if I'm afraid to tell you what I really think. I think Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are going to put it on the Patriots this Sunday night. The Patriots are 3.5-point road favorites, and that Ravens money line is going to pay for your boy's Christmas. I put that on my mama, my dad homies, and Ray Lewis's pregame dance. You can run the football on the Patriots. Cleveland did it, and Cleveland's offensive line is average. Nick Chubb averaged 6.6 yards per carry last Sunday. All he needed to do was hold on to the football. His 2 fumbles cost the Browns a shot at pulling the upset. Lamar is not going to hand New England the ball game. Both he and running back Mark Ingram are going to rush for more than 100 yards Sunday night. They're going to chain Tom Brady to the sideline with a methodical running game, and they're going to eliminate New England corners Stephon Gilmore and Jason McCourty as factors in the passing game. Belichick knows what's coming. Here's what he said about Lamar.
Catching him is an issue, especially on the when he keeps the ball. A lot of times he's running against the defensive end, and you know the ends just aren't fast enough to. They have them, but they don't have them. You know, so it's kind of he's a problem. It's definitely a problem.
That's not coach speak. That's an acknowledgement that the Patriots are facing their kryptonite, a deadly and devastating running game. You can't beat Gilmore and McCourty throwing the football. They make quarterbacks see ghosts. The way to beat the Patriots is on the ground. Make each New England offensive possession more valuable. Winning is masking the fact that New England misses Rob Gronkowski, and hell, they even miss Antonio Brown. The Patriots' offense looks respectable because their defense keeps putting the offense back on the field in good field position and protecting the lead. The Patriots will be lucky to score 17 points on Sunday. Brady will be lucky to get 50 snaps. He's going to do a lot of standing around and watching Lamar Jackson dance through the New England defense. This is the wrong matchup at the wrong time for the Patriots. The Ravens are fresh, coming off a bye. This smells like 24-14 Baltimore. This is a world-famous pay your mortgage and pay for Christmas guarantee. The Ravens put a clown suit on New England Sunday night. I've been wrong about the Patriots a handful of times, but not this time. I ain't scared. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analysts Mark Schlereth and James Harrison. Marcellus, I'll start with you. Are Lamar Jackson's Ravens a bad matchup for the undefeated Patriots?
No, not at all. They're going to fall right into Belichick's hands, right into his game plan. Every single defense I've been on, including the number 1 ranked defense, Coach will always come in front of us as a defensive coordinator and say, I challenge that team to march down the field on us consistently. Think about what that means. Every single coach out there wants you to say, try and go out there and go 4 yards in a cloud of dust and choke on your own cloud of dust. Because what we don't want to allow are the big plays, chunk yardage, as they say. So Belichick is going to watch a team come out there and try to be methodical in their running game against a defense that only gives up 4.1 yards per play. So you're going to go out there and say, we're going to just methodically move this football all the way down the field with a young quarterback who is tremendous. But when you talk about young quarterbacks, first, Belichick is undefeated against them, 21-0 against first and second year quarterbacks. More importantly, the wherewithal, the understandings of the game, the patience, penalties, turnovers all come into play when you try to methodically beat a team by just running the football consistently. It won't work against the Patriots, and it won't work because Belichick says, bring that on.
Is it a bad matchup? Yeah, hell yeah, it's a bad matchup. It's a terrible matchup because it's one of one. They're the only team in the league that runs this style of offense. And what they do to you, like, you tell me how you're supposed to prepare in a league where we have eliminated contact, legislated contact out of the game of football, and in practice, you all of a sudden are going to practice walkthroughs and practice 1 9-on-7 drill where maybe you're in pads for 6 or 7 plays against that, what I call a heavy spread offense. Their tight ends are beastly. Their running backs are beastly. They are one of the toughest teams that I've ever watched to defend. In the running game, they're ridiculous. And what they do, split the ball in half, like split the field in half, right? You're going to pick a side, right? You're going to have essentially 6 guys on one side and 5 guys on the other. There's 11 defenders, right? They end up getting a tight end from the backside, a receiver from the backside, and what makes them unique is the tailback becomes a blocker. So what they end up doing is getting all these guys on one side where you have 6, and now all of a sudden they're on this side, and it's a 7-on-5 matchup. It's a 6-on-5 matchup because the quarterback is carrying the ball. They are the most unique football team. Now, I'm not saying they're going to beat the New England Patriots, but are they a bad matchup? Hell yeah, they're a bad matchup. They're a bad matchup for anybody because nobody else runs it. They are one of one in the league that runs this style of offense, and I don't know how you prepare in 1 week to defend that. James?
Yeah, I totally agree with them. It is a bad matchup, but I still don't see them winning. You know, when we had to prepare for quarterbacks like that, we would actually have 12 guys on offense, and you'd put a guy that would actually, if he was going to run, this guy would actually run the actual run, and if he was going to pass, then the quarterback would actually pass it. So you didn't have a guy in there on one play where you knew, all right, it's going to be a run or it's going to be a pass. So the preparation for a guy that can actually run the ball like a running back and still pass the ball effectively as he can, dude, it's a bad matchup. No way, anyway.
Nobody's willing to step out on this limb with me, and I really don't think it's much of a limb. Ravens at home with this running game and what I just saw Cleveland. If Nick Chubb holds on to the football, that's a hell of a game this past weekend.
If it was a fifth, we all be drunk too. But
and that's the problem.
You got to understand. He is what is he? He's 21-0 against first and second year quarterbacks.
Yep.
Like, what are we talking about? If you keep betting against them, at some point in time, you're going to be right because everything fails at one point.
Right.
But you're going to lose a lot of money to your bookie betting against them before you get that one that's right.
And your argument is making the point that we're saying in the defensive room. Think about a long, consistent drive. Nick Chubb was averaging 6 yards a carry. So let's get the ball in the 20. You got to go 80 yards. What is that? 13?
7-minute drive, 13 plays. Yeah.
In 13 attempts, you know what's going to happen? A penalty here. A turnover there.
Negative play here.
There, negative play there. And then it just stops drives. That's why you got to try to find chunk yardage. If they can't find chunk yardage, which they have in the past, but if they can't find it consistently against the Patriots, it's doomed.
Here's what happens, and you can take that 6 point whatever yards per carry, and you can scrap pile that because Belichick will basically say going into, and James has been there, basically say, hey, they're not going to beat us, Cleveland, running the ball.
Right.
We've got to take away. Odell Beckham Jr. gets 5. He gets 5 catches. Landry gets 5 catches, and they both get about 50 yards or whatever it is. And they're like, that's what will beat us. Big chunk yards in that passing game will beat us. We'll go ahead and we'll defend
Lamar
it.
Jackson's not going to get chunk plays.
Lamar Jackson will get chunk plays in the running game. Can he get them in the passing game?
I don't think he's going to need them. I really don't. Again, the Patriots' offense is not great, in my opinion. It's not great. So I don't see this as a high-scoring game regardless of what happens. And then on the other side, I'm telling you, McCourty and Stephon Gilmore make that defense go. They shut down wide receivers. Yes. They make that defense go. The rest of it, I'm not knocking the rest of it. Jamie Collins, Benoit, good players. But they can be run on, particularly by this team with this quarterback and Mark Ingram and just their commitment and will. They've had a week off.
He's going to do that. he's going to make them beat him the way that they don't want to. They run the ball, and they run the ball effectively. Dick LeBeau, great defensive coordinator, I played with him forever. Dick said, you know what? If we got a team that runs the ball good, runs the ball well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go in here, we're going to smash the run, I'm going to fill the box, and if they beat us passing the ball, they beat us, but they're not going to beat us running the ball, doing what they do effectively. They're going to have to beat us with what they don't do great.
Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for Baltimore, took Colin Kaepernick to Foxborough and beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Off a bye week as well. I think Lamar Jackson's better than Colin Kaepernick. And I know at one point Colin Kaepernick, I was all in. But just as a runner and I think as a more consistent player, Lamar Jackson's better. I think Baltimore's defense is certainly good enough to limit this Patriots offense. I just think it's coming. If they weren't coming off a bye, I would be less sure about my conviction here. But I really do believe they're going to get the Patriots this weekend. You can't, as Mark said, it's tough to prepare for this offense, that kind of physicality. People just don't play this way.
So I'm talking to John Harbaugh. I did a Baltimore game a week ago. And so, I mean, they call it Revolution Baltimore. And John was really interesting because John says to me, he goes, listen, there hasn't been a new passing concept in this league in 20 years. Okay? Because that mine has been mined. It just hasn't happened. He goes, but we are creating a running game that nobody's seen before. And we've got concepts stacked upon concepts that we're releasing them week by week. So absolutely, it's incredibly difficult to prepare for. You know, there's the other side of the ball as well. You look at what Wink Martindale's doing on the defensive side of the ball. They don't rush the passer very effectively. They've had some injuries. What they end up doing is anytime there's a critical situation, this is their philosophical approach. And you know, I talked to Earl Thomas about it. We're going to get in zero, and we're bringing the house. And listen, can you get to Tom Brady before he throws a quick throw to Julian Edelman or one of those other guys? Like, that's the cat and mouse game that's going on. But like James said, they will have a plan. I don't care if they have to put 11 in the box. They'll put 11 in the box. They'll have a plan to try to at least contain and slow down that running game and make Lamar beat them from the pocket. And if he can beat them from the pocket, tip your cap. What an unbelievable statement that is. But, you know, until I see that happen, I just don't believe that's going to happen.
And we haven't seen it happen with a young quarterback. And we also can distill this argument down to this is the number one scoring offense versus the number two scoring offense. So you say, oh, it's going to be high-powered. Patriots put up points, whether we like how it looks or not. But let's talk about in terms of scoring defense. Then you got the number one Patriots versus number 16 Baltimore, and that will be the difference. Belichick will allow Nick Chubb to try and methodically beat him 6 yards at a time. Meanwhile, bracketing, man coverage, man press against an Odell and a Jarvis Landry. In this situation, he's going to say, what's your strength? I'll take that away. Let's see you go plan B. If you can beat us plan B, you got the Patriots.
I don't think it's going to come down to plan B. I think plan A is going to work. Here's the thing that I think isn't talked enough about Lamar Jackson. Because my only knock on Lamar Jackson, I don't like the way the ball comes out of his hands. I don't trust him. But everything else about this dude, I'm in on, particularly his commitment to football. You said you talked to John Harbaugh. The thing that jumps off the screen when I watch this dude play is like, football's really important to him. He's not trying to put on a fashion show, post or pregame. He just wants to win desperately and prove everybody wrong. He has a great opportunity this weekend.
Listen, man, I've always looked at him and said, I don't believe the offense is sustainable, right? Okay. And I still question. But I will tell you this. He has taken less hits running it 15 times a game than most of these drop-back guys are taking right now. And so he just has a knack. Right now he's learned how to get out of bounds. He's learned how to slide. But even when he's running in the middle, he takes about 2 shots a game. So he doesn't take any more shots than the regular quarterback takes for the most part. And he has developed. He's a better passer, and they're a pretty simple passing game. When they spread you'll watch them throw single receiver routes on the outside. They'll run slants, and when they condense their formations, they're going to run crossers, and they're going to try to pick you over the middle. And he'll complete those on a consistent basis. But you know what you don't get? if you're in 3rd down and 7+, you don't get first downs on those. And that really is what it boils down to me, is if they can eliminate their runs on 1st and 2nd down and put them in 3rd and long situations and they cannot win if they turn the ball over. Not many can, but they can't do that. And they're not going to be a big-time conversion team, in my opinion, down the football field on 3rd and long.
Yeah, down in and down out is just not going to happen. You got too many things that can happen in between.
Variables.
Holding, like you said, fumbles,
Y'all gonna be
negative
thinking about me
plays.
Sunday when it's 24-14. You'll be thinking about me.
I won't think about you.
Here we go. They running around.
Jason Whitlock here to tell you about our sponsor, Simply Safe. According to the FBI, the average loss in burglary is over $2,000. It can be hard to recover from that. There are over 2 million burglaries reported every year. That's 1 every 13 seconds. Simply Safe protects your whole home, every window, room, and door with 24/7 monitoring for just a fraction of the cost. It's easy to order. Everything is usually set up in under an hour. Prices are always fair and honest. Around-the-clock monitoring is just $15 a month. Visit simplysafe.com/speak. You'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. You've got nothing to lose. Go now and be sure to go to simplysafe.com/speak so they know our show sent you. That's Simply Safe, SIMPLISAFE.com/speak. All right, welcome back. Game 6 of the World Series is tonight in Houston, where the Nationals will look to stay alive with another road win against the great Justin Verlander. Catch all the action on Fox. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern. All right, James Harrison, Mark Schlereth are back. Time now for a big story. Let's move to Denver, where the Broncos suffered an ugly loss to the Colts Sunday, and afterwards, Joe Flacco called out the coaching staff for being afraid to lose. Well, the next day, the team announced the QB had a neck injury, and today it was reported Flacco is now expected to miss 5 to 6 weeks. Reportedly, the two things aren't related, but clearly John Elway's team is in disarray, which is par for the course lately in Denver, where Elway has run through 3 coaches and 6 starting quarterbacks in the last 4 seasons with a losing record and 0 playoff appearances since their Super Bowl win in 2015. All right, do we trust John Elway to fix the problems in Denver?
No, nobody up here does. And I'm just going to get that out to everybody out there watching. My neck. Oh, this team is sorry. We ain't going to win. My neck. Not connected? I don't know. I think there's going to be more smoke to this story than has been said so far. John Elway, one of my 2 favorite players of all time.
Okay.
Him and Eric Dickerson, those are my guys, my football idols. John Elway is, man, you're talking about in front of your skis. Talking about out of control in terms of what he's trying to do with this ball club. He made Mr. Magoo his way into fixing this, but it won't be through his own calculation. You talk about 6 quarterbacks since Peyton Manning retired. Let's hear that list. Just listen to this list. Case Keenum, Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, Joe Flacco, and Brandon Allen. How did he find himself here? Looking in the mirror every year saying, where's John Elway in the draft? He ain't there, brother.
Right.
And he continues to, I feel, bog down this team just simply because he's trying to fix that situation. And his calculations have been incorrect so far.
Hold on, Mark. Let me
ahead.
go.
Yeah,
Let
you
me
go.
go.
You
Because
go.
you got
he got ammo.
He got ammo. I'm going to get out of here real quick. I agree with you. I don't believe he can get it fixed because he hasn't been able to get it fixed. The only way he got it fixed before was he found Peyton Manning, and he found a quarterback that was great, and they were willing to let go. Right now, the quarterbacks out there that are great, no team is willing to let go, and he's not going to be able to get them, and he can't fix it through the draft. But I would love to hear what you think, Mark, since you're so close.
Mr. Denver over here.
Yeah. Do I trust him to fix what's gone? No. I mean, how did he fix it in the first place? He found himself a unicorn, right? Peyton Manning. That guy's a unicorn. That guy takes a dump. It's a rainbow swirl comes out. I mean,
He found it.
But he found
He found it. He doesn't get credit for that?
Sure, he gets credit for that. And Peyton Manning makes up for a multitude of sins. Guess what? All the quarterbacks he's gone after so far don't make up for. A multitude of sins. And there are sins all over this football team. This football team lacks depth, they lack talent, they lack grit, they lack toughness. You name it, they don't have it. That's where they are right now. They haven't had an offensive line that's worth a squirt of urine in 5 years.
Yay! What show we doing?
Okay, so I'm just telling you, you run 72. I can't even say his name. You run 72 out there every week, who tackles every player that he goes against, who has no idea what he's doing, that makes 5 mental mistakes a game in the ultimate meritocracy, and you think you can continue to run him out and not every guy in that locker room's pissed off? Why is he on our team? Why is he playing? Why does he get this opportunity? I wouldn't get this opportunity. I wouldn't get 17 games or 3 seasons worth of crap to fix my junk. Like, no other guy gets that. Why does he get it? Because he was my first-round pick, and I'm going to prove that I was right. That doesn't – no. Do I trust it? No, I don't.
All right. Help me understand this, though.
I'm not going to get a phone call or Christmas present.
No.
They won a
might not
Super
let you back
Bowl
in the stadium.
under John Elway's leadership.
Thank you.
How do we say he can't do it again? He's already done it once.
He just said he did it with a unicorn, and there's not many unicorns out there.
Who covered a multitude of sins.
Not that year they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he got carried.
And you know what happened that year they won the Super Bowl? That's why I say it's one position damning this squad. They are 4th in defense. They are 4th in pass defense. They are 8 in points allowed. They are 6 on 3rd down. This team is sitting there saying, if you fix this, we got you. But they can't fix it.
They're scoring 15 points, 15.6 points a game.
Because they don't have
Mark, help me out here.
Okay.
Because I think you guys keep talking about the quarterback. The problems I have are the coaches. I don't like the coaches' hires. I don't think Vic Fangio was a good hire. I don't think Vance Joseph was a good hire. I'm Kubiak, you got to give him credit. However, I don't understand how Kyle Shanahan is coaching in San Francisco and not coaching in Denver. That's what he got an interview with Denver. They said his name stood in the way. I don't see how. They had a chance to get what might be the best young coach in football, whose dad had a history there. How did that never happen?
But that is not an Elway decision. I think Elway would have hired Kyle. Elway tried to hire Mike back.
that history comes into play.
That is the board who said, we've gone down the Shanahan track one time, we don't want to go down that track again. So then you get into ownership. Are you empowering, like who are you empowering? I mean, right now, there's a board, there's not an owner. And so
is he taking a little too much heat?
Well, I mean, potentially, but you can't argue. You can't argue from 2013 through the 2017 draft. There are, I think, 4 guys on this football team from those drafts, which should make up a large portion of your roster, and there is not one Pro Bowl player amongst them. Not one. So, I mean, we can look at the draft. Now, we can say, hey, Bradley Chubb was a great player in 2018. And we can say Cortland Sutton is really developing into a really good player. But the rest of those drafts, I mean, there's questionable. So there are a lot of issues. The bottom line for me, the reason I say that I don't think he's going to fix it is because first and foremost, you have to admit that there's a problem. You have to admit that it's not just the coaches, Jason, that I'm not giving the coaches that I pick the requisite talent to win in this league.
Okay, but everybody, no matter how talented, needs someone that they respect to hold them accountable. And it seems like to me, Pat Bowlen, no longer the owner or capable of being the owner. And then now who questions John Elway's decisions that he respects? To me, it sounds like he's been spayed and neutered. And, perhaps that's why he's ineffective. Everybody needs oversight. Trust, Bill Belichick gets a lot of the credit and deserves it. I guarantee you Robert Kraft deserves a nice piece of that credit as well and question some of the things Bill does. Everybody needs that. To me, it sounds like, and I'm caping up for him because John Elway is my favorite player of all time.
I get it.
I get he's been ineffective here, but I'm just trying to understand how you can go from building a Super Bowl winning team to now you can't fix anything. That seems crazy to me.
Well, I mean, it may be crazy, but I'm looking at the history of the last however many drafts. I mean, Von Miller's been a great player, right? Definitely. You went out and got Aqib Talib. He's a great player, no longer there. You got T.J. Ward. He's a great player, no longer there. You got Darren Stewart in free agency, great player. Did those guys sign in Denver because of John Elway, or did they sign because they want to play with Peyton Manning? You know as well as I do. Man, when you're a free agent, you get cut. You want to go play with Case Keenum, or you want a shot with Tom Brady?
I'm going Tom Brady.
Right. I mean, so I think you have to give a lot of the credit. I'll tell you the other thing that happened. You got DeMarcus Ware and you got Peyton Manning. And there was a leadership standard that was set. And I think when you have great domineering leaders on a football team and those guys retire, you know what the other young guys don't do, what other guys on your team don't do? They don't develop into great leaders because why? Hey, Peyton Manning will take care of it. Hey, DeMarcus Ware will take care of it. Hey, those guys will take care of it. And nobody's ready to take that over. So from a cultural standpoint, I think those guys retiring and those guys leaving really hurt this football team.
Whitlock and Wiley, Mark Schlereth is back. For some reason, they let LeVar Arrington come out and join us. All right.
Winning coach.
All right, let's move to Arizona, where the Cardinals host the undefeated 49ers this Thursday. The game will be the first matchup of this year's top two picks, Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa. And Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury has been singing the praise of the guy he passed up, saying the 49ers made a great pick in the relentless Bosa. So far this year, Bosa has been dominant, recording 7 sacks and creating a ton of pressure, while Murray's season has been more of a roller coaster with flashes of his Heisman talent marred by rookie mistakes. Question here is, will the Cardinals regret drafting Kyler Murray ahead of Nick Bosa?
Absolutely not. You got to think about impact. And if you're talking about an organization, that impact is in wins and losses and ultimately Super Bowl championships. Let's just be real. So let's talk about how the impact of those two positions were they maximized. I played one of these positions, so I'm sitting here ringless. But let's talk about the top 5 defensive end sack leaders of all time versus top 5 quarterbacks in terms of impact, wins and losses, Super Bowl championships. You know what the top 5 quarterbacks have? No matter who you want to say is your 5. If you want to say Brady, Montana, Elway, you want to go.
Dan Marino,
okay. And Drew Brees, you could go throw Peyton Manning, wherever you want to do it. At minimum, you're going to add up 14. You know what the top 5 sack artists, defensive ends of all time have in terms of Super Bowls? One.
How?
Go. You want to do this?
LT's got, I don't care where he stacks on that list. LT got 2 Super Bowls.
First of all, that's a linebacker playing defensive end in certain situations. But I respect what you said.
Reggie White has a Super Bowl.
And that's the only one? Haley? That's the only one? No.
Charles Haley has 5.
Yeah. Charles Haley was not top 5 defensive end all time.
All time.
Oh, yeah. Bruce Smith, Reggie White.
You're talking about in terms
Bruce
of
Smith has 4 Super Bowl appearances. What more can you ask for?
Win them. I mean, he asking too much, I guess. Let's talk about also the roller coaster ride of a It's not top 5. I played the position.
What are we basing it off of?
Mike, I apologize. Go ahead.
Hey, I apologize too. He got more than me. Let me say this. The roller coaster ride of Kyler Murray, we're not really looking at that correctly because even Nick Bosa had a roller coaster ride. You know he's had 3 games with 0 sacks, right? So when you play DN and you tap out or you don't do the same in terms of impact, we don't notice it the same. When a quarterback doesn't have a tremendous game, we notice it differently. And that's why I'm saying there's no regret. Kyler Murray doesn't even have to have the same level of greatness as a Nick Bosa to have even a greater impact in the game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think they'll regret Kyler Murray. Right now, they have 3 wins on the season. They're 3-4-1. They had 3 wins all of last season. He's only going to continue to get better. I think when you look at the impact of Nick Bosa, who was amazing, and I did his game last week, think about what he's surrounded by. Nick Bosa, first rounder. Dee Ford, first rounder. Eric Armstead, first rounder. Buckner, first rounder. Solomon Thomas, a first rounder. I mean, that defense.
Are they helping him around the corner? Are they?
Yeah. You know why? You know why? Because he's getting one-on-one on a consistent basis. And you know what? You give any good pass rusher one-on-one on a consistent basis.
We're going to eat.
Yeah, you're going to win. So, I mean, listen, Kyler Murray is is continuing to grow, and he's getting better every week, and he's helping keep them in games. Are they going to regret it? No, I don't think they're going to regret that at all.
Yeah, they're not going to regret it. Kyler Murray is the trend of where the NFL quarterback.
Tiny quarterbacks? That's the trend?
That are mobile and can throw the ball.
Tiny.
Well, I don't think it necessarily matters if you're mobile, because Russell Wilson is showing if you can move around and you can see. Yeah, he's not big.
He's not tiny.
He's not big. And the reality
You're
of
over here poking.
that is something that Cliff Kingsbury has been notably good at doing, is developing mobile quarterbacks that can throw the ball on the move, guys like Johnny Manziel and your guys, Mr. Mahomes. So I look at it as we can look at Nick Bosa and feel as though that they may have made a better pick by taking him, but it may be because could possibly have a bigger impact as it's right now. But tongue-in-cheek is to say he's a great player. They got a great player in San Francisco, but if you're looking at Kyler Murray's upside, I think that they feel really good about where they're at.
It sounds like I'm beating up on Kyler Murray, and maybe I am. But I was talking to an NFL general manager before the draft who made this point. He goes, I don't want to be first. I don't want to do nothing that's first. And so taking a tiny quarterback at the top of the draft, they went out on a limb. When they had a guy, Nick Bosa, whose pedigree, measurables, everything said, oh, my God, this guy may be next. He might be the next LT. He might be the next Reggie White. He might be the next Javon Curse. He might. It's a clear, easy pick. Nick Bosa, we've seen what guys 6'4", 6'5" can do this. We've seen what they can do. Just take him, no regrets, no worries. You know he's going to produce. As opposed to taking a 5'9" quarterback at the top of the draft. That's never been done before. Get that guy, get the 5'9" quarterback. Yeah. I don't like short quarterbacks.
Can I have that? Let me have that. If you're saying as a GM you don't want to be the first,
I don't.
You should probably evaluate who's your GM. That's the first thing. Because
say that again.
If you're not willing to make the decisions that are the best decision for
I'm
your
not taking
franchise,
Doug Flutie at the top of the draft. I'm sorry.
I'm
not doing it.
You can be right.
Go there. He was never that higher prospect.
He was a Heisman Trophy winner just like
going to
this
go
kid.
first overall, though.
If you're playing it super safe, you might slow.
That's not super safe. Nick Bosa's not safe.
You might die a slower death than a quicker death.
Well, no one wants to pick number one because that means you were sorry as hell in the first place. That's what.
I do if Nick Bosa's available.
Hold on. His brother was next, and his brother is next. His brother has the same amount of sacks as him.
Right.
And how are the Chargers doing? I'm just going to say they're 3-5 right now, and have they won a Super Bowl under the next? The position has a limit. I don't understand why people don't get this.
And I think that's the original
That's all
point.
we're saying. I'm not saying that Nick Bosa won't be a better player than Kyler Murray. But there's a limit to what you can do in impact.
You were talking to a GM that said he didn't want to be first. Let me read from your essay. Gentlemen, grant me this moment of reflection and transparency. Years ago, I was controlled by fear.
Come on.
How am I going to be the most fearless show in sports, you said, if I'm controlled by fear? Right now you're saying, I don't like Kyler Murray because I'm afraid to be first.
That's fair. You can't be
That's what you're saying.
Speak for yourself is not fear.
Let me just
Fearless.
Okay, good. Let's go.
I want to be smart about what I do. Mm-hmm. And, hey, it's nice that Kyler Murray's off to a nice little start. And unintended. He's off to a nice little start.
It was a punt. It was a
Why gotta be a little start?
Well, he punted.
I'm just going to tell you.
It was a bar.
What?
There was a team years ago in 1981, I believe, that took the Heisman Trophy winner over Lawrence Taylor, George Rogers. He got off to a nice little start with the Saints.
Was he little?
But one dude was Lawrence Taylor and led a team to 2 Super Bowls as an all-time great player. And I'm just sorry. The 49ers are 7-0 because of that defense. And because of what Nick Bosa has provided, they look foolish. I said it at the time.
Has Nick Bosa taken you to the place where J.J. Watt took you mentally and in production yet? He may, right? He may. I don't say yes yet, but you may. J.J. Watt had 4 years, 4 different seasons where he had 16-plus sacks.
Yeah.
How much success?
You're putting Bosa in the same conversation as that.
First of all, he might be. He might be. He got to get Player of the Year. He got to get through J.J. Watt, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year
in
first.
honor of the World Series, let's talk about wins over replacement, okay? If you take Nick Bosa off, off that where he didn't even start.
5-2.
Okay? You
5-2.
take Kyler Murray and you have Josh Rosen in Arizona right now. Where are they? 0-8.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an impact position. Difference.
Didn't we just have a large conversation
facts.
about
That's all I'm doing, spitting facts.
MVP challenges of the NFL and how hard it would ever be for a defender to get?
Yeah.
And who's the guy who got MVP of the entire league?
LT.
Come on, man. Don't put that man in the same category as LT right now.
He got to climb through so many greats before.
I will not sit here.
All I'm talking about is 7 games through their rookie year.
You're my guy, Whitlock. I will not sit here and allow you on national television to say that Nick Bosa belongs in the same conversation
7 games
as one Lawrence Taylor.
Does he?
7 games in.
He's not even J.J. Watt yet.
7 games. I'm just saying,
I
based
will
on
not.
LT's first 7 games and Nick Bosa's first 7 games.
Is he even Aaron Donald yet? And how many Super Bowls Aaron Donald got?
Hey,
you can sack all you want.
You know I got the nickname Stink? Because I piddled in my pants every time I saw LT on the other side.
Whitlock and Wiley, LeVar Arrington is back with us. Joining us now is Fox Sports college football analyst Reggie Bush. Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
Yes, sir. Let's move to some college sports. It looks like some big changes appear to be coming. The NCAA voting unanimously today to start the process to allow student athletes to benefit from their name, image, and likeness. The decision comes after California passed the Fair Pay to Play Act a few weeks ago, which will make it illegal for schools to punish athletes for making money off their name and likeness. Want to ask you guys, you think this is the right solution for the NCAA?
No, I don't. Look, I didn't like it when Gavin Newsom came out and passed his little law or whatever because I knew it was part of a gimmick and a plan to let the NCAA off the hook. This is, hey.
Let him off the hook how?
Yeah.
Well, none of this is coming out of the NCAA's pocket. Y'all want to make money on the side? Go ahead. We get to keep our billions. That's all this is about. Okay. It's protecting the NCAA and their money and taking the money from football and basketball and spending it on athletes who don't play football and basketball, don't look like the players that play football and basketball. It's a gimmick. It's the okay. I don't think it's the solution.
It's still a start.
I think y'all go because y'all were some high-profile collegiate athletes, and one of y'all certainly wish this rule was in place. They played, I'm sure.
Listen,
I'm going to let him speak first.
the NCAA brings in over $1 billion per year. That's billion with a B. So schools such as Ohio State, Texas, Michigan bring over $200 million per year in revenue. Do you know how much the average athletic scholarship costs? I'm just going to let y'all take a wild guess. Anybody?
$250,000.
$19,000 is the average athletic
Oh,
scholarship per year. That's men and women.
That's
men and women.
86,000.
So in what other form of work can a company say, we're going to sell your likeness, we're going to put you on TV commercials, T-shirts, books, toys, hats, jerseys.
Oh, and by the way, you can't do it.
And you can't even get a piece of it.
You can't do it.
Right. Because what? Because you're going to get a big old scholarship, right? But a scholarship, big old scholarship, right? We're going to give you a scholarship, right? But a scholarship that can also be bought.
Yeah.
Apparently, right? And so I have a graphic I want to show you guys because
really
what we're talking about is basketball and football, right? And it's kind of crazy because the other day, look at the gap, first of all.
Look at that gap.
Look at the gap between basketball and football. That's ridiculous.
It'd be a bigger gap if Reggie Bush was back there, too.
Man.
Recall that.
But it's kind of crazy because the other day.
What is this gap showing? What are we showing here, though, Reg?
So this is the NCAA average revenue by sport.
Gotcha.
Right? And so this is what each sport brings in on the average, right?
Gotcha.
And that's $31 million at the top?
That's $31 million at the top, and the next one behind it is basketball at $8 million.
I don't see badminton.
So I do want to mention, though, this is up to 2017 because they have not released 2018 and 2019.
It's more now.
It's more now,
Trust me.
right?
Yeah.
But I was watching a game the other day.
And that's just NCAA.
That's
that ain't
NCAA.
school.
Exactly.
You go by school, that is a much different figure, by the way. Like double, triple that for the football team. So,
but I just want y'all to understand, the rule they just passed is just allowing them to get part-time jobs.
And I'm okay with that because we've been allowing allowed as athletes to get part-time jobs. All right.
That's all it is.
No, it's
The
not.
problem-
It's much
and
more than that.
That's
It's much more
fine.
than a
That's
part-time
fine. Let me
job.
have that
Oh,
part-time
yeah,
job.
yeah. It's more than that,
Let
though.
me have that part-time
Don't
job.
set off
because
chaos. Go ahead.
With
Bingo.
social media, it's not going to set off
Yes, it is.
chaos.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is not. All it is going to do is shine a light on the exploitation that has been taking place for all these years.
Now they're not exploiting you. You got a part-time job now. We're not exploiting you.
No.
You get to make money off your license.
Let's be clear here. Let's be clear, all right? If you have social media with all of these manufacturers out here that are
Social media is going to save us. Yeah, I know.
No, it's not about social media. It's a platform.
I know.
It's a
It's the greatest
platform
thing in the
for.
world.
See, you're trying to undermine this point here. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm gonna just let Jason.
Social
Whitlock
media is
go.
the devil, but go ahead.
Okay. Can I please finish my point here?
Yeah. Get your leg in. I want them to talk too. Let me
Because
get some of this.
The point I'm trying to make here is.
You know what this is, right?
Yes, that's Twitter off. That's all.
Go ahead.
LeVar Leap Arrington. If you don't say what you
Yes,
gonna say.
I'm trying to, but it won't let me say it.
Say it.
He won't let me
Come
say
on,
it.
Leap.
Give us an opportunity to create our own merchandising opportunities. That's a part-time job that I gladly accept and I would be okay with, and not looking at it as undermining or creating total chaos for all these people that believe that college athletes shouldn't get paid. That's my point.
All I have to say
That's
to this,
my point.
As the guy who was outside of your greatness and watched it from afar.
What does that mean for me?
That means lowly, small school Columbia. I never was in this conversation, but watched you guys have to go through this and always thought a little different than the reality. Here's the thing. This is a great solution for now, but it must revise itself before 2021 or the wild, wild west will occur. Let me tell you how this is going to work. They're going to hide under the guise of likeness and image. You guys can profit off of that. But basically, they're going to still protect your game and try to protect your name. So, in that reality, an agent is now fully incentivized and motivated to say, I'm going to take care of you in likeness and image. What does that mean? I could pay you millions of dollars right now and let you play under the restrictions of the NCAA. How long do you think that's going to last? It's not going to last long at all. So what we have right here is them being forced and not forward thinking because of the California law change. So this is just step one of many to have it an open door policy. Right now, all they wanted to do is open the front door and take a peek outside. Trust me, agents, businesses, commerce. Shoe companies are coming through there and say, Reggie Bush, here's $6 million. I know it's less than you got at USC, but here's $6 million right now, and you keep playing. You think the NCAA is going to allow that? You think the schools are going to allow that?
If you own your name and likeness and the value of your name and likeness can command that type of dollar, so what?
I'm not mad at that, but this rule is not fully accepting that.
It's the start of a process.
Here's the issue that's going to happen. I'm just telling you.
Come on.
There's Reggie Bush. There's LeVar
See how
Arrington.
I'm not interrupting you?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
You just did to say that.
There's the great players that really do drive revenue to the sport. And then there's all the guys that think they're you and you. And they're going to make sure that they do something on that damn field that raises their profile because they want to profit while they're...
You're creating a worst case scenario.
No, it's an obvious thing that's going to happen.
You still have to play the game.
Why?
You still have to play the game.
Human nature.
We're
Tell them
talking
that
about.
it's human
We
nature.
are talking right. We're
man.
talking about being able to monopolize off of your own brand.
Yeah.
Why can't you enterprise off of your own brand? I did this thing.
You got to be quick.
All right, super quick.
We're out of time. We'll
If
do
you
it in the bar.
took all the jerseys that sold when Reggie Bush was at USC and you multiply that by the amount of home games that they had and give Reggie Bush $2 off of them using his name and likeness, just give him $2 off of each jersey. How much do you think he would make off of each
Less than
jersey?
he got.
I got it.
That's probably around what, 20?
Reggie.
Is that 20 million?
I lost track. Oh, no, I lost track.
I got
man.
to, for real.
I lost track.
This is the
16
perfect
million?
I lost
LeVar.
track,
Ask him now. Hey, Reggie, obviously you were on the right side of history. They were on the wrong side. Come on, come clean right now. You're a free man, man. How much you got paid, bro?
How much I get paid?
Look at that!
All right, welcome back. Whitlock and Wiley, Reggie Bush and LeVar Arrington are back. All right, let's move to Dallas, where the Cowboys were unable to consummate a deal for Jamal Adams. So anyway, we'll stick with Dak Prescott. And Dak's fortunes seem to be rising and falling with every win and loss. After a 3-0 start, it sounded like a new contract was imminent. But after going 1-3 the last 4 weeks, it sounds like the Cowboys are asking some concessions of their quarterback, as Stephen Jones, Jerry's boy, explained recently, saying, quote, "The only thing we need him to do is work with us a little bit. I understand because it's his money and it's easier for someone else to say that he should compromise. But the only reason we're having a negotiation is to talk him into all the reasons why it's good to have a good supporting cast around him." Boom. Stephen Jones has finally said what we've all known. Do you like this strategy of putting it all out into the public space, Marcellus?
Depends on what side I am sitting on, but I would say, yeah, I do like it. Court of public opinion matters so much in the entertainment business when you're talking about leverage and contract situations. So, unfortunately, even if I'm the loser in that situation, I can't be mad at the other side for trying to air out this situation. What he's saying is coming off the heels of Orlando Scandrick saying he wished he had worn that star the entire tenure of his career. Sean Lee, who is taking an active pension plan right now just to stay in Dallas, doesn't care if he rots away on the bench. He's fine with that because he likes being a Cowboy. They're all talking about human capital. Too many people get caught up in the narrow focus of just monetary cash capital. There's a human capital, a network, a situation being connected to this star, how it elevates your brand, how now, Dak, you're in every single commercial. And by some of the metrics, they say you're extraordinarily average. But you're in every commercial, and your brothers are in the commercials too. So he's trying to sell the human capital as something that's greater than a denomination, than something that's greater that's going to go in your bank account. Instead of you having 2 names on your check, how about you get 1? And that's a whole different conversation that maybe Dak doesn't want to monetize in the now. He wants to wait. But that's the conversation that Stephen and Jerry are having.
I don't like the way that they've been handling this because another portion to the interview, what he said, he called Dak flawless. He said, "You're our guy." And he also said, "You're not saving us any money," right? And so to me, it's when you say that he's your guy, he's flawless, we want you, but then you're negotiating differently, like you're giving mixed signals, right? Now, I can't fault Dak for this.
You've never given mixed signals.
Huh?
You've never given mixed signals?
No, I'm talking about the
No, I know, but humans give mixed signals.
Right, but when you're negotiating, when do you ever go out publicly and say, "We love you, you're our guy. However, behind closed doors, when it's time to negotiate, we need you to take a pay cut"? Like, I can't fault Dak for that.
I'm not going to apply this to you, Reggie. I'm just going to say it. I'm not applying this to Reggie. But this is like a prenup. You know, I love you, baby. I want you to, but sign right here on this dotted line. I want some protection. And so I don't have a problem with that.
I want to expand on what Marcellus
Please
is
do, because
saying.
I ain't signed a prenup. You can have it all. Can't take this talent. Can't take this talent.
I thought you might have finished off when you were talking about court of public opinion, when putting it out there and going in this direction by saying, Make a little bit of a concession for us so that we can build a cast around you. He's sending out a signal to the general public to say, take a little bit less so that we can have a winning team.
More.
But if you take more money, if you're taking the money that you're basically telling the public, he's asking for so much money that we cannot maintain the roster.
He's selfish.
But whose fault is that? That's not Dak's fault.
But he's putting
it's the play.
I'll say, if you're talking from a business standpoint, it's smart to put, as the organization, to put a subtle, like, all right, what is Dak going to do? Is Dak going to be selfish and make the decision? We're giving you the decision, Dak. We're telling the public, we're giving you the decision. Do you want to take a lot of the money, all of the money, and we can't build and keep this roster together? Or do you want to make a little bit of a concession, be a team player, and allow for us to keep these supporting cast guys
that
around
you
so
need.
we can win, that you need.
Right.
So now you're putting the ball in his court and saying, you make the decision, Dak. You want to take all the money, fine. But if we don't have a supporting cast, when we lose, it's coming your way.
Find some better coaches then.
No, that's not how
Find
it
some better
works.
coaches.
But
To learn how to go win.
But the
opinion
model
isn't gonna
is,
focus
are you
on
going to
that.
be the Tom Brady or are you going to be the Russell Wilson? And no one takes shots at Russell Wilson, but when you're the highest paid and then you start to say, well, you don't have the strongest receiving core. Oh, you don't have the greatest defense anymore. Well, that's what they do. They put that subtle narrative out there that will grow when people start to find that their
I do
team
agree with that,
is adverse.
Yeah, I agree
So
with that.
the thing about it is Dak has to sit there and counter this with his own leverage, which is saying, I have two floors. The franchise tag, which is at $33.4 million. Can't go lower than that. Let's just be real, even if you keep me here. And two, what's my free agency floor? And every number for Dak going forward is going to start with a 3. It's going to start, every contract is going to have a 3 in it. So Dak is playing this tug of war between the perception of reality and the perception of perception that they're putting out there.
The smart play,
and that's tough.
The smart play is to have a spokesperson, a mouthpiece of sorts that isn't directly connected to Dak, and letting it be made known how disingenuous this is for them to do what they're doing.
He needs
It's
to
not
mark.
disingenuous.
It is disingenuous.
It is
really
100% disingenuous.
Why?
Because they did not have to put, if you can make some concessions.
All right,
Exactly. Like, you ain't gotta put that out there.
If you feel that way sincerely and genuinely, keep that behind closed doors and have that conversation. with
Okay,
God.
so here
But
we
you
are.
Gave it for public
Got
consumption.
you. It's almost Halloween.
Okay.
This contract was supposed to be done in July. It's almost Halloween. They're grasping at straws. They're dealing with a guy and an agent that they believe is out of pocket and delusional. Hey, Dak, the $40 million deal disappeared when you started playing like Dak again.
Then say that.
That's basically what they
That's
said.
genuine if
Oh,
you
that's
say
what
that.
they said.
I would respect that more
Say that.
than you putting
We
something
was
out
going to
there.
pay you
Exactly.
if you would have kept winning. But
Exactly.
now that you haven't kept winning,
Exactly.
Yeah.
now
I
you
would have
see,
respected that
that's
a lot
genuine.
more.
But
You suck right now. We don't want to give you the money that you wanted, and let's
Dak
go
knows
from there.
damn well what they're saying. And again,
told the
they're not
public
going
that.
to put this dude in the position that Carson Wentz is in. I give the Cowboys credit. The position Jared Goff's been. Why overpay for these guys that aren't really driving the victories? Carson Wentz is getting eaten up in Philadelphia. Dak, we're not going to do that to you. We're not going to pay you all this money and have all your teammates looking side-eyed at you. The Cowboys are so damn desperate. They got allegedly one of the most talented rosters in the league, and here in the last hour, they were desperately trying to get Jamal Adams because this dude ain't good enough to win by himself, and they're honestly saying, look, hey, man, we want you at a
now it
price
comes back
so
to
that
the
we can
coaching.
put all
But
these
one thing you
pieces
can't
What
do
did I
in
say?
Dallas,
Find some better
in
coaching.
Dallas, you can't tug back at those heartstrings. Jerry has a huge heart, player-friendly. If I'm Dak, I find my Marshall Faulk like Ezekiel did. I find my guy who's going to take
And let
those
that be your
shots
mouthpiece.
for you because right now, this
Detroit.
approach is just prolonging the situation and making Dak look a little worse. They're going to make him framed as greedy.
Yeah, they put
He's
some
in the
pressure on
corner.
Dak.
They're going to
Dak-
frame
they
him as
just
greedy.
put
All right,
Dak in
before
the
we
corner.
go,
Yes, for
I
certain.
did.
I'd like to remind Brian Flores and Dolphins football fans that the road to 0-16 is paved with good intentions. Flores, the Dolphins head coach, took another step toward pro football immortality and futility last night during Miami's come-from-ahead 27-14 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The defeat dropped Miami to 0-7, moving Flores 9 losses away from joining Rod Marinelli and Hugh Jackson as good coaches stuck with the unshakable 0-16 label. If it happens, Flores won't forget last night and the boneheaded decision he and his coaching staff made right before halftime. Leading 14-3 and with the Steelers facing 3rd and 20 at the Miami 45 with 26 seconds on the clock, the Dolphins sent an all-out blitz at Pittsburgh's inexperienced quarterback, Mason Rudolph. Oh my God. The Dolphins had blitzed on the previous play too, or at least threatened to blitz, forcing Rudolph to quickly uncork an inaccurate long ball to Juju Smith-Schuster. But on 3rd down, Rudolph learned from his mistake and hit Deontay Johnson on a short slant route. Johnson did the rest, running past his defender and escaping Miami's last 2 defenders for a touchdown that completely changed the game. After the game, Flores said he has no regrets about the call.
We felt like, that was the right call in that situation. We blitzed them a few times and had some success, and they got us on that one. So it's one play in the game. We're still up at halftime. We still got an opportunity to play well and win the game. So, look, there's bad plays in the game. There's good plays. You got to be able to overcome the bad ones.
Flores doesn't regret it now, but he certainly will if the Dolphins lose 9 more games. The Dolphins front office might be tanking for the #1 draft pick, but Brian Flores doesn't want his name associated with 0-16. That's an incurable disease for an NFL head coach. Flores is just 38 years old. He'd like to be a football head coach for another 25 years or more. If he goes 0-16, he could be fired midway through next season, and some other Miami head coach will enjoy the benefits of having Ohio State defensive end Chase Young or Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Hell, it might be Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin. More speak for yourself after this. Whitlock and Wiley, Mark Schlereth, and LeVar Arrington are back. Let's move to Cleveland, where the Browns have struggled through the first half of the year and now are starting to point fingers at each other. Yesterday, Baker Mayfield called the team non-disciplined after another mistake-filled game against the Patriots, while Odell Beckham Jr. called out the play calling for not being aggressive enough. All right, the question here is, Marcellus, has Freddie Kitchens already lost his football team?
Never had this team.
Oh, there you go.
Never had this team.
Took the words out of my mouth.
He had our attention to pay attention to this team, but Odell was out here, UCLA, throwing balls over the stadium. And Baker was filming commercials, empty stadiums, getting straws.
What foreshadowing?
Empty stadium. Look, Freddie Kitchens, man, you talking about, in over your head. It's Freddie Kitchens. And you talked about 0-16 stigma that lives on a coach and really is a career killer. How about moments that Freddie Kitchens had in his first year as a head coach? A 4th-and-9 draw that we all sit there and scratched our head, all of us.
Butt fumble? It's like
it's
a
butt fumble, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he doubles down on that. What was that, a 4th and 11? Let's punt the ball. Get a penalty. I'll forget it. Let's go for it. I mean, Freddie Kitchens, respect, man. Drop down a level, coordinator. That's where you belong right now.
Yeah, as he lost, I don't know that he's lost. It's hard to lose a team that doesn't live in reality. Remember when Baker Mayfield came out before the season even started and said, hey, the hype is real? It takes more than hype. It takes more than talent to be good. It takes guys who are committed to playing for one another and sticking it out, and not about making commercials or being about the hype or being about the ancillary things that come with fame. It's about playing the game. I mean, here you got Odell Beckham Jr. saying, I'm not the GOAT that Tom Brady is, but here's a goat shoe. Like, are you really? You're not the GOAT that he is? You think? Like, I hope Tom Brady took that goat shoe and just threw it in the trash when he went in the locker room. Like, what the hell do I need with a goat hair shoe? Like your mind is your
That's what you're thinking about.
Your
that's
mind,
what you're thinking about.
No, but your mind is on goat shoes.
Yes.
Before the game. Like,
and pants that don't cover
I don't
your
know
knees.
I don't know how you win a game when your players are thinking about, they're thinking about the fame and the celebrity and goat hair shoes above playing football. You ain't gonna win jack.
And I think that goes back to not ever having the team. He hasn't already lost the team. He never had the team. When you're making decisions like that, you make those decisions in the offseason. I bring you into the office. I did free agency one time. I went through so many different interviews, the GM a couple times, the coaching staff a couple times, the ownership a couple times, then a couple times more with the GM, a couple times more with the coaching staff, and then met with a couple of the players. You go through the process of, can this guy fit within our scheme, our system, our culture? Can he fit? As a head coach, you say, I love his talent. I love his ability. But he's not a fit. He's not a fit for what we have right now. Maybe 2 years down the road, maybe. But right now, no. We gotta make sure that we develop our quarterback. We gotta make sure we develop the chemistry with what we have right now. Those are leadership qualities that I'm not seeing take place with this Cleveland Browns team. So he never had it to begin with. You came into the scenario without a level of respect to be able to say, let's cool off on all of the off-field branding and commercial stuff. Let's win a few more games, and then let's swag out then. But you got to have that respect, and you got to have people that buy into that before you even can get to that. And I don't think that's ever been.
Well, and again, the original sin in all this is from ownership, in my opinion. Baker had a nice season. Baker, let's hire a coach you like. That's not how you hire a head football coach. You don't. Him and Baker are drinking buddies, and they play the fart game together or whatever. That makes you the head coach. No, Greg Williams should be their head coach, or they should have went out and hired someone qualified. That's the original sin. A quarterback that had 8 good games at the end of the season doesn't get to dictate to your franchise who the head coach is.
And I want to illustrate exactly what you're talking about, how chemistry is demonstrated or lack of chemistry is shown. This is something that I want to harp on because this entire offseason we talked about Odell and Baker's relationship in terms of on the field. Did they establish enough chemistry? We saw it come to life in the New England game. This play right here, some have made notice and attention of it, but the lack of chemistry on that back shoulder play right there came to mind because the psychology of bad plays, as they say, preparation is the separation, occurs from having this repped out against Stephon Gilmore. You're going against the best corner in the game. And this situation, you need these plays between your 2 best players offensively. And I feel they didn't have that play. They didn't have that moment because in Odell's head, he was going through like, 1, I'm on Stephon Gilmore, not open often. Oh, not really having the fundamental and technique necessary to execute this play. And they don't have an unspoken language. Baker and Odell needed to have more chemistry in the offseason to make more plays like this.
Uncle Jimmy's here to help us talk about our approval ratings for Lamar Jackson.
All right.
Oh. Come on, man. Make me happy. Marcellus, big dummy of the day.
That ain't gonna happen.
Bet against the Patriots.
Hey, man, listen. big dummy of the day go to the person that said, hey, man, I taught you how to play the fart game, and you gave me a job, so why are you coming down so hard on Freddie and Baker? Hell, you can't have it both ways. Friends is friends, bro.
All right, let's talk about Lamar Jackson, who faces the Patriots this week. Bill Belichick says Lamar is a problem to defend, and even though I just swore off betting against the Patriots, I'm betting on Baltimore this weekend. Damn straight they're going to put a clown suit on New England. Marcellus, will I regret this bet?
What do they say about advice? Something you ask somebody else that you already know. Here's your advice.
Had a good
you
one
already
right
know
there.
you messed up, bro.
Had a good one there, boy.
Why? It wasn't a week ago or so you came here. I'm never doing it again, Bill. Please, Bill, forgive me, Patriot fans. And here we go again.
I don't control the point spreads. I just react to them.
Okay, all right. You do control how much you can get back if you bet on the right team, right? And you bet on the wrong team again. All right, we'll see.
All right, Uncle Jimmy, I know you with me here on this bet.
I sure ain't. Listen here, man. Let me get this right. Let's make sure I'm following you on this.
Yeah.
So you picking the 2-year veteran, Lamar Jackson, over Tom Brady?
Lamar Jackson, yes, I am.
Okay, and you picking John Harbaugh over Bill Belichick?
In this game, yes, I am.
Okay, now, just follow with me now. Now, let me get this right. Now, you do know that the last time John Harbaugh went to a Super Bowl was back when Colin Kaepernick was still trying to pass. And I ain't talking about football.
That's right. Both Harbaughs were in that Super Bowl, Jim and John. All right, I got you.
Thanks.
Look here, let me tell you something. See, I done figured this out now.
Yeah.
This is the very reason you spent $10,000 on a thigh master when you should have got a gut master.
A Stairmaster.
Look at man, if your thighs get any smaller, they ain't gonna be able to hold up your body.
It's a Stairmaster.
Now hold on. Let me be quiet. Listen, you said in your little Whitlock that you didn't want to seal the deal on your little childhood sweetheart
Janice
because it would upset your daddy.
Yeah.
Your daddy had nothing to do with it. You was afraid of a self-inflicted early discharge. Now that would have embarrassed your pappy.
Dude.
In the
7th grade, bro. 7th grade. Clean it up.
Oh, you got so many kids. Calm down, bro.
Look here, man. I done came to the conclusion that you, help me out. You what they call a Methodist.
A Methodist.
Yeah, you one of them people, you one of them sickos. You ain't happy unless there's a little bit of pain involved.
Masochist.
Oh, God. I was like, what?
I mean, you just one of them sickos. You ain't happy unless there's some pain involved. For this morning, you hurt yourself on that treadmill.
Stairmaster.
For the sins that you about to commit at Red Lobster, now that all you can eat shrimp is back. Now, look, I told you about 2 weeks ago. I said the next time you had some money that you wanted to get rid of, I told you come holler at Uncle Jimmy.
That is true.
So here we go.
Yeah.
I need you to put your money where your soup coolers is. I bet you 3 push-ups on national TV.
Oh, man.
3 push-ups? I would say
look here, the Vegas is giving 3.5.
Big wage.
God damn it, Uncle Jimmy gonna give you 4 just to get 3.
Big wage.
I need to know what you're gonna do.
3 push-ups?
3 push-ups on national TV.
I'm gonna have to consult with my trainer to see if I can do 3 push-ups.
Oh, you stop. Hell no. We ain't gonna
You better
make
talk to Jesus.
You know, I got that. I'll take that bet.
Yeah, you got
I'll
that
take
bet.
that bet.
Oh,
All right.
I gotta see.
Y'all
that.
heard this.
Yeah, I hope I can get 3.
You getting
I saw
points
Clay
for this?
Travis did like 50 push-ups the other day. Surely I can do 3. All right. Let me get to my approval
Way to
rating.
look at it.
Clay Travis don't eat it. Wally's 3 times a day.
I got Lamar all the way up to a 74. I'm sorry. All the way up to a 74 All-Star
Whitlock
status.
table for 1.
All-star.
Almost GOAT status
Full
when he
table.
wins this game and wins me this money.
Yeah, All-Star would mean he's gonna make the Pro Bowl. This dude might win the NFL MVP, so he's GOAT status right now, exceeding all expectations. I had him high before, and he's played up to it since, so respect for him. Oh,
The internet, of
come on,
course,
man.
agrees with me.
on, man.
All-Star status is 61%.
You got him at Wally.
All right, I'm gonna get.
I just need 3.